Perfecto is the most underrated player I've ever played against. When people talk about Navi, they firstly mention electronic or simple, but I think Perfecto is the glue guy of the team. NAV from Team Liquid. Ilya Perfecto is a very important part of Navi. It will soon be 3 years since he joined the team and started to play the important roles of support and lurker. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because you are watching CYBERSHOKE, and this is the story of Perfecto. Ilya was born on November 24th, 1999 in Russian Omsk, and unfortunately, we don't know much about his childhood. He first learned about Counter-Strike by watching his brother play with his friends. Despite Ilya asking him many times, his brother declined to play with him and told him to just train with bots. So this is just what little Ilya did. Later, he started to play on public servers, and around 2015, he learned about esports. By the way, the first pro team he ever learned about was Navi. Kinda symbolic, isn't it? In time, Perfecto built a reputation in the pretty closed Siberian pro scene. You see, the ping in Siberia is very high, even to Moscow and St. Petersburg. So in a way, it's a different region for Counter-Strike. Local teams often play against one another, and only the best ones get sponsorship deals to cover travel expenses to start to play at Moscow LANs. Perfecto's story is no exception to this rule. He got his HLTV profile in May of 2018 with the team called Adlance, playing on a LAN in St. Petersburg where they reached the grand final and lost to Boomich. In general, Adlance were just an ordinary Tier 3 roster from CIS. They were spinning around the top 150 on HLTV and showed the following results. Here, for example, they successfully reached the closed qualifications to the minor, but failed to get any further. In August, after failing to qualify to the MSI tournament, Perfecto and Adlance parted ways. It seems as if they must have had some sort of conflict in the team, but the only thing we know for sure is that they said, "We just didn't get along." Ilya started to play a lot of FPLC, and there he met Sanjay. In October 2018, Sanjay invited Perfecto to play in the Epicenter qualifiers with him and iDisbalance. Ilya played well, and after Sanjay and iDisbalance decided they were going to build a team together, they invited Ilya to be a part of the roster. And that's how Perfecto ended up in Syman Gaming. Joining Syman was a big boost for Perfecto. Individually, all the players were strong, and the team itself started to appear often on HLTV. For instance, when the team was still newly formed, they won Vitality at the DreamHack Open Qualifiers, and then they won 2 top 30 teams in the closed stage, stopping in the final match for a slot to the LAN. After a year of playing together is when Syman showed their best results. It all started in the closed qualifier for the CIS Minor, where, after winning Pro Sto and Winstrike, the guys qualified to the main event. Even on the minor, they were outsiders, coming in at 7th place out of a total of 8 teams by HLTV rankings. But surprisingly, they played pretty well and got to the challenger stage of the major. For Syman, this was already a very big success. Just think about it. Top 95 team managed to get to the main event of the season, and they got their stickers added to the game. Their first opponent was a top 2 team, Vitality. The difference between Syman and Vitality was enormous. It was a match between the best and the worst teams in the challenger stage by HLTV rankings. Well, a major miracle happened.
Fool me once, shame on you. Missed me twice, you're dead. Basically, for ZywOo.
This is over. This is it.
It's done. Perfecto's got RPK. You're right. Absolutely.
Look
and
at
there, you said it. This guy's hype. Look at that. They took down.
Judging by their reaction, it's fair to say that Syman didn't expect that they would ever win it themselves, and their next results prove that. The guys then lost to North 14-16 and then got beat up by NRG. There was no more margin for error. To stay on the major, Syman had to do the impossible: win top 9 Furia, who at that time already were a big scare for any team. And considering that the loser got knocked out of the tournament, the Brazil would play at their maximum. It seemed like Syman had zero chance, but in the 2 maps, Furia won just 16 rounds in total.
Right now. Change of pace in this round. They've got that AWP in Art's hands, and he's got aggressive into the apartments. Missed shot the first time around, now falling back.
Oh, no.
2 players here, they're very dedicated. It's just a swarm of Syman up in the apartments. Perfecto and Ramzik doubling up the A-bomb site under Syman control. Torek deleting Yuri. It's Vinny and Keserato, the 2B players, the two players that have had highlight moments in this game left up to try and keep this dream alive for Furia, keep the major dream burning, but it doesn't look like it's going to. Keserato's put down, and Torek solidifies it. Syman Gaming, they move on to that 2-2 group, and they will keep on fighting here.
Unfortunately, in the decider, Syman lost to Avangar, another CIS team who eventually would reach the grand final of that major. The Berlin major greatly helped Perfecto remove his mental block. Ilya said that after winning Furia and Vitality, he no longer had a fear of facing the best teams in the world. He realized that, in a way, all players are really the same, and in order to win against any opponent, all you have to do is just make fewer mistakes. Unfortunately, after the major, Syman went down in terms of results. They were ranked 23rd best team in the world, and in just 3 months, they fell to 55th place. But before the new year, they made some noise. Thanks to the good result on the Berlin Major, Syman got the invitation to play in the Nest Pro Series 2019 closed qualifiers. The guys successfully passed them and went to the main event in Shanghai in December. There, Syman won all 6 matches, losing just 7 rounds on average and earning $35,000 in prize money. Perfecto remembers that tournament as one of the brightest achievements of his career. The new year was coming by, and when Syman tried to prove their right to play on the Tier 2 level, another CIS team, NAVI, was facing slightly different problems. After failing the whole season, NAVI realized that Guardian, who was signed just 4 months ago, just didn't fit in on the team. His KD was unacceptable for an Opper, 0.91, so Ladislav started to tilt in the middle of official games and played even worse. It became clear that Guardian had to go. Simple asked to play the sniper role again, and NAVI decided to find a decent rifler for the newly available spot. After failing to sign Flit, NAVI turned their attention to Perfecto and Forrester. Blade called Ilya to a test, where he succeeded, and, as you could guess, he played good enough to get invited onto the best team in the whole region. On January 24th, 2020, Perfecto officially became a member of Natus Vincere. There are rumors that NAVI had to pay $200,000 to sign him. Ilya says that joining NAVI was a life-changing event for him. He instantly gained tons of fans and haters. People started to recognize him, and more than 100,000 people started following him on Instagram now. A big upside was that Perfecto got the exact roles that he played in his previous teams, so there were almost no changes for him gameplay-wise. So his adaptation was fast and easy. Soon after joining NAVI, Ilya moved to Kyiv. It was an easy decision because he simply can't play on the top-tier level with a high ping. In just 2 days after his arrival, Kyiv's authorities launched a lockdown, so Perfecto basically got locked up in his apartment and never even got a chance to properly explore the city. NAVI had less than 3 months to prepare for the main event of the season, the IEM Katowice 2020. They trained a lot. Perfecto also worked individually with Blade, and as a result, before coming to Poland, NAVI reached the grand final of the Ice Challenge and made it to the top 3 on Blast. The guys came to Poland being just another strong team among many. Very few people actually expected them to win. Sure, everyone expected that NAVI would reach the playoff stage, but win the whole event? Not likely. But NAVI started to crush one Tier 1 team after another, and eventually found themselves in the grand final against G2, who at that time had a streak of 13 wins. The game started with G2's pick, Nuke. Perfecto managed to get only 4 frags there, but not because he played poorly. No, it's just that the rest of the team did all the work for him. For instance, Boomich had a 2.0 KD on that map, and Flamey performed one of the best highlights of his career.
Teammate, you really don't like to see a ramp rush here.
And the nade lands!
Let's go, boys. Let's get another ace for Flamey! He's doing it all over again!
On the second map, Dust 2, Natus Vincere had a very hard time despite it being their pick. They won the pistol round, but lost on the force buy, and in one moment, the score was 2-7 in G2's favor. But NAVI managed to come back 16-13.
Flick That's the Krieg right in front. If he misses a chance, he's gone. Kenny with the leg shot. That might be everything they need here. And now only a couple of seconds left. Perfecto on 1 point of health. And he gets a shot. It's the time for it. He's going to run for it straight away. And there will be a second map here in the finals. Simple stands up, celebrating already 16-13.
The third map, Mirage, was so easy for NAVI that Perfecto ended the first half with 0 deaths. He remembers that the teammates asked him, "Ilya, how did you manage to not die even once?" And his response was, "I don't know, I was just playing like I always do." At that moment, he didn't care about the stats. There was just one thought in his head: to win at any cost. And win they did.
Seem to be taking matters into their own hands, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Your champions are going to be NAVI. It's a 3-0 clean sweep here in the grand final. This is a legit team. I didn't have much expectation.
Nobody could touch them. They did it in the semi-finals, and they did it again in the grand finals. Your IEM Katowice 2020 champions! It's NAVI!
In general, NAVI finished 2020 as a usual Tier 1 team. After triumphing in Katowice, they didn't win anything, but oftentimes reached grand finals of the big tournaments. But the next year, 2021, was the best year in the entire history of the team. Despite Flamey's downturn and the addition of Bit, they still played great. NAVI won the main event in Blast Series, became the champions of the DreamHack Masters, and didn't fall apart after Akuma knocked them out of the RMR. It all resulted in NAVI being crowned the best team in the world by July. And after that, they won 2 more prestigious events, ESL Pro League and IEM Cologne. It became clear that NAVI was the favorite of the upcoming major. There were no surprises in Stockholm. NAVI not only won the event, but managed to not lose even a single map in that tournament.
10 seconds to either plan. That's
Oh
the
no!
bomb. That's
It's falling
the bomb.
apart!
That's going to be
It's
it!
only Nico, there's no time! He just has to watch that clock tick down! This is it! NAVI have taken the major!
Winning the major wasn't enough for the guys. In November and December, NAVI won 2 big events from Blast and proved once more that they truly are the best team in the world. When the year came to an end, NAVI still occupied first place in the HLTV rankings. They had enough achievements to deserve an era, so NAVI became the one and only organization in CIS that had an era in both CS 1.6 and CSGO. Great results helped Simple to become the best player of the year, and though Perfecto didn't get to the top 20, he still had some great stats. For example, he took 4th place in the list of best clutchers of the year, winning 76 clutch situations. In February 2022, Ilya found himself in a dirty situation. A large bookmaker had put a coefficient of 500 in case one of the NAVI players bought an M249 during the official match. One of the fans tweeted his bet and also promised to get a NAVI tattoo in case he won. And here's what happened in the last round of the game against Furia.
Ну, ты знаешь, состав молодой, соперник серьезный. Нави сейчас на серьезном. Да ладно!
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой! Это М249 пал! Вот за это реально Нави респект.
Of course, the community noticed that, and while some people perfectly understood that Ilya never even thought about personal gain, others saw a very big conspiracy. In the end, no one proved that Perfecto bought that M249 intentionally, so he didn't get punished, and eventually, everyone just forgot about it. Unfortunately, in terms of results though, NAVI became a bit worse. They started to be eliminated from tournaments more often, and Boomich's removal hurt them a lot. But they are still one of the best teams in the world. For example, in 2022, which hasn't ended yet, NAVI has 2 major playoffs and won first place at the Blast in spring. As for Perfecto, he does his job perfectly. Ilya is a calm and stable player who always shows us some great CS on the server. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We only have 1,000 subscribers at the moment, so YouTube won't always recommend our new videos to you. By subscribing and hitting the bell button, you provide yourself with our great esports content. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.